Hello everybody and welcome to the Real Housewives Edit. My name is Elle and I am here talking about the two loves of my life, editing and housewives. Oh wow, it feels so good to say that again. I know it has been actually over 2 years since I've uploaded a video on this channel, and I know no break on YouTube goes unpunished, so I completely understand that most of you will not watch this video, but all I can say is I have missed you guys so much. Since I stopped uploading, I have moved. I just had another baby. I don't have my same setup because I moved, so obviously you can see no computer behind me changing colors, which was something that you guys actually told me you hated anyway, so here we are, blank slate. I just have been watching Salt Lake City. I've been thinking about so many times to come back to the channel. When Real Housewives of OC started up again, I was like, okay, I'm going to start the channel again, but then OC wasn't maybe the most exciting season for me. That's my opinion! So I just couldn't get inspired on any of the episodes to come back to you guys. But I will say that Salt Lake City has been a joy and I would love to talk about it with you guys. There was one scene in particular that I'm going to cover today that just had me watching the scene over and over again, and I was like, you know what? I'm taking it back to the YouTube. You know, one of the big things that I really missed in just uploading to this channel was just obviously you guys, the community of people who love editing and love the housewives and our ladies just as much as I do, but also just the creativity of being able to watch our shows and kind of break them down in a different way. I really, really miss that. And I feel like, I don't know, just lately I was like, I feel like that kind of fun part of my life is missing in a way. And I wonder if any of you have experienced that before, where you've kind of been going about your day to day and you're like, wait, I forgot like how to, I don't know, like maybe watching our shows kind of bring out that fun in us. But I feel like me, I've got little kids, you know, work stuff, all the stuff, life stuff, plus like turn on the news, it's so dark. I'm like, I just want to have some fun. I just want to get out here and talk again. So hopefully you guys will have fun watching. Before we even talk about this scene, I need to let you guys know, which you might know from 2.5 years ago, that I absolutely love Lisa Barlow as a housewife. I think she's one of the greats. She has all of the qualities of a housewife that I think make an amazing housewife, which is she's a bit delusional. She's kind of one of those, you know, the water really rolls off her back, but she also takes things personally. She's beautiful. She has businesses, you know, she has these little quirks. She's funny. I do not like this scene like coming at her because she's my girl. But this was like, I was like, wow, Bronwyn is actually really earning her snowflake or whatever, because this was a great scene. This was like, I was like, oh, I see everything. And she was so confident with it. And what I really want to break down about this scene is really just how they kind of built the scene with the reactions of everyone around them and kind of how they created this tension, how they made it look maybe like Lisa was a little bit more affected by the conversation than she really was, using the editing to do so. So without any more speaking, let's just get into it.
You what's public record now. I'm a dick sucker. You've been hanging out with Brittany. That's how you have clothes. No, Lisa, my husband pays for my clothes. Because you suck. Okay.
Right there at that change where she tries to say that dig to her, like, that's why you have clothes. The music changes and all of a sudden it goes into this sort of vamping thing.
That's how you have clothes. No, Lisa.
Anytime it starts going into that vamping music, you know something major is coming up. Like, it's almost like it's headed towards battle. Like, you can feel it start to dun, 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 dun. And you see her face kind of change, like, oh, wait a second. Like, I know where I am in this conversation. I know where I am in this argument. I know exactly how to play this.
You suck his dick. That's what you happens in anybody's relationship.
Okay. So I absolutely love party scenes like this where they're cutting to patrons of the party, like other patrons. The funny thing about those reaction shots, which I always love to think about as I'm watching this, although I'm trying to enjoy it at the same time, is really where did those reaction shots actually happen? Did they actually happen during this scene? You know, was it actually during this conversation, or are they pulling it from other parts of the party? Everything they're trying to do is they're trying to show that this is making a scene. Obviously, they're talking about crazy stuff. You know, they're saying stuff that probably shouldn't be said at an event like this. And so they're really trying to show the people around them are looking at this scene. They're making a scene. That's what they're trying to kind of show with the edit.
It's my husband who pays for my clothes. Who's paying your Amex, Lisa? Somebody is on.
Okay, so again with the reaction shots, so they cut away to these four ladies. Brittany kind of like nods. Those reaction shots also are bringing us into the world of like, what does everyone else in the group actually think of this conversation? Where are we headed? Whose side is who on? Like, are they on Lisa's side? Are they on Bronwyn's side? Typically, it seems to kind of like the scales tend to tip towards, you know, someone who's been on the show longer, but it does seem that they tend to be agreeing with Bronwyn already just in the very brief seconds that we've seen of this conversation.
Record saying he paid for it. That's a lie, and that's a lie. He took all of her financials to court, Lisa. You can yell all you have.
I love Mary in the background there, kind of like she's watching a ping pong match. Really, her face is not showing much, but she is going back and forth with her eyes, and you can tell she's like, she's us. Let's be real. She's really us watching this scene being like, what is going on? But this is really interesting to watch.
Can yell all you don't have a say. It is in the court case. No, it's not. It's not. It's not in the court.
Okay, when Whitney comes in and says it is in the court case, you can hear that big boom they do.
It is in the court case. No, it's not. It's not.
You know when they say like he dropped a bomb on me or she dropped a bomb in the conversation, that's kind of what's going on here, because you have Bronwyn kind of coming at Lisa, and the editors, like if they just let this scene play out like a little argument, it might just be a very basic argument where Bronwyn's kind of tearing down Lisa and they're kind of going back and forth, but adding those little stingers in, like the boom, when Whitney comes in with something, it's kind of like, this is what we're all thinking, everyone's thinking that.
It's not in the court case.
Okay, so of course, the editors are just so shady. I love them. So she's like, no, it absolutely isn't. And then instead of like, you know, showing a reaction or anything like that, of course, they bring up the document, they highlight all of the things that are saying exactly what Whitney and Bronwyn are saying, and then the music comes in with this like dun 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 dun. The stakes have increased, basically.
Did you tell Emma? I have a question. What is it called? Did you tell her in my face? I'll do it. Absolutely don't. Okay, oh my God.
Okay, so the camping scene, Brittany was kind of backing up Lisa, I think. But in this moment here, when they kind of cut away and they have her with that face like, uh-oh, it kind of gives us an uh-oh, like, oh, Bronwyn's like on something here. Something is going and Lisa needs to be careful.
Are we going to get the head nod too? Are we going to get the... You can make fun of me all you want. It's not going to clear up those lawsuits.
Okay, so I want you guys to look there where they had, you know, where she's making fun of Bronwyn. She's saying, are we going to get the head nod? And she's starting to, you know, you can always tell someone is in trouble when they start to go super low. It means they don't have much. So she starts making fun of like her gestures and I guess like her appearance and how she speaks. But then you also see Meredith in the back. She says something and you guys can see that like she says something, obviously I think she's saying it to Bronwyn, but you can't hear it. So they all have separate mics on, right? So what they're basically doing to keep the narrative a certain way is they're pulling other mics out, right? Like Meredith inserted herself there, but you could barely hear what she said. You probably only heard it because it was picked up by one of Lisa's or Bronwyn's mics. But if it, you know, if her mic picked it up full volume, the editor said, no, we don't want to hear what Meredith just said. I actually don't know what she just said. I can't really lip read, but you know, they completely pulled her audio out there.
Are we going to get the head nod too? Are we going to get this too?
Maybe the conversation would have been different if we'd heard what she said, where she was kind of inserting herself. But I think that really tells us in this scene, they really wanted to just have these two ladies going at it exactly like they are.
Lisa, cash will clear up those lawsuits. Not putting your finger in my face. Okay. Not pretending you don't know what you're doing.
Ooh, okay. So right when she says that a real sick burn, as they would say in my generation, where she says, you know, that's not going to clear him up. Cash is going to clear him up. You hear the music drop out there.
Lisa, cash will clear up those lawsuits.
and then all of a sudden she starts talking again, and you get this, the knife sharpening sound, and you get the music coming in again.
Your finger in my face. Okay, I'm pretending you don't know what you're doing.
All of the edits and all of the sound and music cues are really lending themselves to making Bronwyn look incredible in this moment. So. So again, you can see in the background, you can see Mary talking to Meredith. They're talking about something, but we're not hearing it because this conversation is what we as an audience should be focused on.
You're not going to do anything to me. You've been yelling for a year. I'm a liar. I suck dick. But by the way, do you suck dick? Yes. No, I love sucking dick.
So this is so classic Housewives. I just love it. It's just so absurd. She asks that, Whitney responds, and then you hear this boom.
Yes.
And then they cut right to, I think this is the host of the party. They said this like socialite, Utah socialite. I was dying when I was watching this first time.
No, I love sucking dick. I'm unfazed by that. That's how you pay your bills. You brag about that too.
Oh. Okay. And then again, that cutaway to that woman who's kind of giving like this weird face. They're really trying to build up that people around them are watching this conversation. The conversation is obviously inappropriate. Everyone around them is listening in, and it's building, it's building, it's building. That's really all this is. Building, building, building the tension. Now, us as an audience, you can see the people behind them as they're speaking. They're not even really looking over. So the editors are putting in these little, moments where someone's giving a reaction shot. But if you actually look at the shot, the people behind them aren't like staring at them. So the editors are building something that maybe isn't there, really there.
Well, you said when the Amex bill comes, I just say, Todd, I'll suck your dick.
Okay, so when Lisa says that, the music cue gets a little bit lighter. All of the ladies are shaking their heads, kind of like, ooh, that one didn't land the way it was supposed to. Not because it was a burn, but more just because it's like, okay, she was making a joke. Like that it didn't do what she wanted to do, right? And then now I think they're going to cut to Bronwyn's confessional, where Bronwyn's going to basically cut her down. And they're really doing that. They're really building the scene to show that like Bronwyn's got the upper hand on Lisa here.
My Amex bill comes in a box, not an envelope. It's that many pages, okay? I have to distract Todd from it sometimes. The point is, this is what happens when you're friends with Lisa. You make a joke to her, and 5 years later, she's gonna pull it out of her.
Okay, so when we talked about this last time, 2 years ago plus, there's a lot of this like where, there's a confessional going on, and then they cut back to kind of scenes in the party of the people that the people in the confessional are talking about. Because if it was just a camera just on their confessional as they speak, we might get bored as an audience member. I mean, what she's saying is not boring, but they do like to kind of cut back to kind of keep you in the scene while they're talking.
Later, she's gonna pull it out of her long arsenal about you to try to twist it and make you look bad. Off.
And I actually do enjoy having sex with my husband.
So they lighten up the mood again, and then you hear they almost give like a thunderclap.
And I actually do enjoy having sex with my husband. So
We're back in this conversation again. We got Mary and Meredith watching in the background, and I have to say Bronwyn looks very confident. This feels like almost like the way that Mary's watching it, like a tennis match. That's almost what it feels like as an audience member. I'm watching this going like, wow, they're really going back and forth, and it's kind of like a game of tennis or basketball or whatever, where you're like, I think I know who's gonna win. I think I know who's winning.
Sex with my husband, so I'm unfazed by that accusation.
Oh, now she's okay with Todd, but in Mexico she was not okay with Todd.
Actually, in a marriage,
And you can see that they close up on Mary, and that the editors left that in, that she's, kind of thinking as they're talking. All they're really trying to do when they cut to someone else is like, what is this person thinking? Does it resonate with you as an audience member? Can you relate to it? Again, just picture them just having one camera on Bronwyn and Lisa just talking. It would be kind of like I don't want to say a throwaway scene, but it would be like, oh wow, like yeah, it was a conversation, it was an argument, and then that's it. But with all of these reaction shots, with all the music, all that stuff, it really builds something.
marriage has had ups and downs. That's not going to
Nobody talks worse about your husband than you do.
Okay, well, nobody borrowed money behind their husband's back other than you, bitch.
That's
So
not
what does
true.
that say?
It's not true.
Is John?
Okay, so the cut to Whitney, again, I think I call these like almost like relatable reaction shots where us as the audience watching it, it's going to be relatable to us. It's really that thing, like if you're honest and open and don't care what really people think about you, it's very hard to lose in an argument. So Bronwyn, I think at the beginning of this conversation, she really locked into like, what can this woman say to hurt me? She can try to hurt me. And the way she even said that thing, like, I think it might be coming up, or if we've watched it already, where she's like, you've been yelling at me, you know, for a year now. Like, what are you going to do? What else are you going to say, basically? And that gives you that really gives you so much power. And I think Bronwyn really stepped into her power in this conversation because of that. It's like she doesn't care. And I think all of the housewives, all of the ladies, they respect it. Because I've never personally seen anyone stand up to Lisa like this. I think Lisa is, like I told you at the beginning of this video, like a stellar housewife. I think people know that. Maybe people don't like her as a person. That's, you know, but as a housewife, she's phenomenal. So I don't see a lot of people go toe to toe, especially someone like Bronwyn, who I think last season people weren't crazy about her. I kind of liked like her potential. Well, let me put it that way. But let's just keep going.
Not aware? Because the next messages they put in the court documents said that you specifically asked them not to tell John about it.
She thinks she's a lawyer now. She didn't even go to college.
I don't think I'm.
And okay, what's crazy is that shot of Brittany right behind Lisa as Lisa's saying that. You see people and they're floundering. They're trying to get other people in with them. Like, oh my gosh, like, isn't this person crazy? But Brittany's just kind of almost like looking at Bronwyn like, you're incredible.
The newspaper.
You should really go to school.
Well, Lisa, you should go to work and pay those lawsuits off is what you should do.
Oh, okay. So there's that big thunder boom again.
That's what you should do.
And then they go back to Lisa's face and Lisa looks, yeah, that hit her. It got her.
She is disgusting. You are like such a pig.
What's crazy is Lisa talking to everyone else about her and no one's agreeing. Everyone's just watching Bronwyn break down Lisa, and then Bronwyn's drinking her champagne. I mean, it is crazy that no one is backing up Lisa, but I think it really comes from like, she's going super low with Bronwyn, right? She's going really low, and Bronwyn, I mean, you know, it's housewives. So she's talking about her lawsuits, you know, and all of that. And then, but they're like, we can't back you up on going low about that stuff. It's just not cool. I think this is really going to be a big plot point for Lisa, is feeling kind of alone this season. Like, I just see that every time she's trying to like kind of like, you know, recruit someone into the conversation, no one's really jumping in. Everyone's really curious to keep hearing what Bronwyn is saying. I think Lisa starting to go low, talking about her husband and things she said as a joke was just not a good thing. Like, I think Lisa should have let it go, but it's that old saying, you know, a hurt dog is gonna holler. Like, this really obviously is a pain point for her. Sorry, that was so country, but hey, I was born in the South. All right.
Create a website and post all her lies.
Starting a negative online campaign. We know you love to do that, Lisa. You've done.
So Whitney was all of us. I know Whitney's kind of a controversial housewife. She's never been my favorite housewife, but I do think that she has a little bit of relatable, at least her reactions sometimes that she does, like, bring us in, make us feel like the audience, like we're really being represented by her. Because when she says, I'm going to create a website, like, to attack her, and Whitney covers her mouth, like, what? Like, that is so not the thing to be saying here. I think we really kind of relate to Whitney in that moment.
Lisa, you've done it to many of us already, so I love that you're threatening to do that again.
There we go. And then we have Whitney again, kind of like nodding at that point. Those are the moments that sometimes housewives that I don't love, they get me back. When sometimes you get those reaction shots of them acting the way that we feel, and I'm like, ugh, I love them. Okay, let's see.
It's a joke. It's such a joke.
Okay, so that shot of Bronwyn sort of like nodding and looking, I would say smug, kind of like, you know, a cat that got the canary. She knows that she won, especially because Lisa's walking away, called her a pig for literally no reason. That reaction shot, what's interesting about it, who knows if it was there actually in the conversation or if they grabbed it from something else. That's the beauty of editing, or the not beauty if you're the one in front of the camera, but basically that they could kind of take a reaction shot and kind of put it there. I don't know if they did or not, but if they put it there to kind of show like she's like, yeah, I won that. But you just never know. Like maybe in the conversation she walked away, you know, at that moment, but they didn't show that because it didn't have the same kind of feel to it. Right, so they have the reactions of each of the ladies. The shot where Meredith is nodding her head, you know, they're kind of making it seem like that was the final shot. I would venture to say that was probably a shot from another thing where she was maybe reacting to someone, you know, saying, basically affirming someone that's something that someone said. Guys, I absolutely loved that scene. I thought it was dramatic. I thought it put Lisa on her heels a bit, which is going to be very interesting for the season. Again, I love her as a housewife, but this definitely brought Bronwyn up for me a little bit, just because I felt like she kind of kept it classy, but was also, you know, being shady like a housewife, a great housewife can. I did a video last week, which I thought was going to be the debut video, which is basically the trailer of Salt Lake City, because I thought it was such a great trailer, but I ended up not liking the video. Maybe I'll not like this video, but I was like, I'm not going to post that. But if you guys do want to see a video covering the Salt Lake City trailer, just let me know in the comments. I would love to redo that video, and yeah, because I think it was a really fun thing. But anyway, all 10 of you that are watching this again, I am so grateful to you. Again, this is definitely a creative outlet for myself. If you yourself are lacking a creative outlet, I would highly suggest finding that creative outlet, because yeah, it's like, life is too short. Like, what are we doing? But I would love to hear how you guys are doing. How did you like Real Housewives of Orange County? How did you like Atlanta? Atlanta, honestly, this season, I could have covered this season just because of the Shamia of it all. With Portia, I have so many thoughts of that. I think that Shamia played it poorly, to make it very simple. I think she definitely could have played things a little bit better. I think going up against Portia in the way that she did, even though, you know, if she was watching this, she'd say I didn't go up against Portia, but I personally think she did. I have a lot of thoughts on it, but I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, because I thought that season was, yeah, very interesting with her involved in it. I would love to see her come back. I don't know how that's all going to shake out. The Drew stuff with Ralph was interesting. What else? The OC stuff. I still don't get the Gina Emily thing. I think Gina is growing on me just as a person. I still don't get the Emily thing with housewives. As a housewife, I just don't, yeah, it's not my thing. What else can we talk about? Anyway, I just want to hear like all your thoughts. All your thoughts. Anything that you wanted me to cover that I haven't covered in the last 2 years. Maybe there's a scene that stuck out to you. Put it in the comments. Again, the 10 of you watching, give me something, give me a homework to cover. But if not, if there's nothing there, I'm just going to keep covering Salt Lake at least till the end of the season. That was great seeing you guys again, and until next time.
Creating a mole out of a mountain out of a mouse hill, right? A mountain out of a mole out of a mountain hill? A mountain out of a molehill. Yeah.